Leo lived in a house that touched the sky, made of glass and steel, overlooking the city's endless lights. He had everything: fast cars, expensive suits, a company worth millions, and a name everyone knew. But behind the polished floors and priceless art, silence echoed. Leo's friends liked the millionaire, not the man. At night, he sat alone, haunted by a single question: where did I come from? He was adopted, raised by loving parents who were now gone. They gave him everything but answers about his origins. Who gave him his eyes? Why did he love the ocean's sound? These small mysteries pointed to a bigger one, a mother he'd never known. To the world, he was a tech genius, strong and in control. Inside, he was just a boy searching for a missing piece. He had built an empire, but the one thing he truly wanted was something money could not buy. The ache in his heart was a secret he kept from everyone. He knew he wouldn't be whole until he found the truth. One rainy Tuesday, Leo couldn't ignore the questions anymore. He climbed to the attic, searching through dusty boxes of childhood memories. There he found a locked metal box, his adoptive mother's secret. Inside, a manila envelope read, "For Leo, when you are ready." His hands shook as he opened it. Adoption papers, a name, Sarah Johnson, his birth mother. No details, just a name and a small town he'd never heard of. Deeper in the envelope, a faded photograph, a young woman with kind, sad eyes and a gentle smile. He traced her face, realizing he had her eyes, her smile. For the first time he saw himself in someone else. The world outside faded. This photo became his most prized possession. It was proof he came from somewhere, from someone. He made a silent promise to the woman in the photograph: "I will find you, no matter how long it takes." Leo hired the best investigators, armed with a name and a photograph. He expected quick answers, a happy reunion, but Sarah Johnson was a common name, thousands across the country. Every lead ended in disappointment. Weeks turned to months, hope flickered. Leo, the man who solved impossible problems, couldn't find his own mother. He searched himself, visiting the small town of his birth. Locals shook their heads, memories faded, no one remembered Sarah. He walked the streets she might have walked, imagining her young and scared. The search became an obsession. Work and sleep slipped away. After a year, the investigators gave up. The trail was cold. Leo felt a despair he'd never known. He stared at the photograph every night, hope dwindling to a fragile ember. For the first time, he believed he might never know her story. The emptiness grew. Life moved on, but Leo's sadness lingered. One cold afternoon, he walked through the city, lost in thought. Amid the blur of people, he saw her, an elderly woman huddled on a sidewalk, wrapped in a thin coat. Most people passed by, but Leo stopped. Something about her face, her eyes, made him freeze. They were the same eyes from the photograph. His heart pounded. Could it be? He stepped closer, studying her features, the curve of her cheekbones, the gentle line of her mouth. It was her, older, worn by life, but unmistakably her. A wave of disbelief, shock, and sadness crashed over him. The world faded, only she remained. He realized this was his mother. The search was over, but the real story was just beginning. Leo knelt beside her, hands trembling. He pulled out the faded photograph and held it out. "Ma'am, do you know who this is?" he asked, voice barely a whisper. She took the photo, eyes focusing, breath catching. Tears welled up as she recognized herself. Where did you get this?" she whispered. She looked from the photo to Leo, searching his face. "This was me, a long time ago." Leo's voice shook. "My name is Leo. I was born March 12, 1990, St. Jude's Hospital." Recognition washed over her, her body shook with sobs. "My baby," she cried, voice breaking with decades of longing. He reached for her hand, and in that moment the world disappeared. They were no longer strangers, just a mother and son, finally reunited. On a cold street, they found each other at last. Leo helped her to her feet and led her to a quiet cafe. Over hot tea, she told her story. Her name was Sarah. At 16, alone and terrified, her family had cast her out. The baby's father was gone, she had nothing. She loved Leo fiercely but couldn't provide for him. Social workers promised a loving couple would give him a better life. Giving him up broke her heart, but she did it out of love. Life was hard, low-paying jobs, no family, always thinking of the son she lost. Illness and bad luck left her homeless. "Every day I thought of you," she said, tears streaming. "I prayed you were safe and happy." Leo listened, tears in his eyes. It wasn't a story of abandonment, but of sacrifice. She had given him everything she could. Now he could finally understand. When her story ended, Leo took her hands. "You gave me my life, twice," he said. He saw not a stranger but his mother, the girl who made an impossible choice. "Come home with me," he offered. Sarah hesitated, ashamed, but Leo insisted, "My home is your home." He bought her warm clothes, treating her with kindness that melted her shame. That night he brought her to his glass house in the sky. For the first time in years she had a safe place to sleep. Over the weeks Leo helped her heal, medical care, stories shared, gratitude expressed. The emptiness in his home faded, replaced by family. The light returned to Sarah's eyes, her smile matched the one in the old photo. Leo's missing piece was finally in place. One evening they stood on the balcony, city lights below. "Welcome home, Mom," Leo said. For both, it was a new beginning.